All right. So can I just check everybody can see the screen okay? It's loading, and is that visible? Okay, fantastic.
Yes.
So welcome everybody to the Ask Me Anything and news session for OASIS Our World at HoloNet. We're ready to go now, and as I said before, we're going to start off with a run through of everything we've got going on, followed by an opportunity for members of the community to ask any questions that they might have. To kick things off, I wanted to say thank you to every person here for joining. You know, no one's getting paid here, and so this is for every one of you. It's a labor of love, and it really means a lot to us. As Lux said, post questions in the comments. At any point, if you feel like retweeting or getting the word out, that would be also much appreciated. Yeah, to start off with, you know, the overall mission for us in the short term is about the holochain community and how we can shine light on it generally. We massively believe in holochain, and we believe, as many of you guys do, that it's the start of a better future. And that starts with a fundamentally new way of building the technology, and we believe in it, and everything we do is sort of built on top of that. We're trying to support that in sort of 4 ways. Number one is to bring in more devs. And then secondly, it's not just devs, it's making the technology available to a wider audience by actually building stuff on it. And once we've done that, it's all about creating a foundation for the future and ultimately co-creating a better world. So, you know, no pressure, but there's pretty high ambitions, but we all share them and we think we can do it. And that's what makes this part of our lives right now so exciting. It's also a big challenge, but we think we can do it. So bringing in more devs. Now, if you've been following Art and Mary and the rest of the Holochain team for a while, you'll know that that's the #1 aim for Holochain right now, and Art often says so on Twitter. Right now we're focused on attracting and serving devs, there was a bunch of quotes about, you know, on Twitter. Irreverent Evan has said this recently: Holochain was designed for the participants. It's not really a project that's all about pump and dump, making money. This really is about building on it and creating the systems of the future, and it does take a while. But one of the things that we're really concerned with is doing that. So we've got three ways in which that's happening. Number one is HoloNET, which is our .NET and Unity client for Holochain. Second one, which we're announcing today, actually, is from our developer Farha, is a .NET Academy, which is a new DWeb training program designed to get new devs up and running and understanding these systems. And the third part of it, which we're again announcing today, is OASIS AI, which is a code translator tool. And all of these are designed to make life just a little bit easier to actually get into Holochain. So, you know, one of the challenges that Holochain has is it's built on this amazing language called Rust, which has a lot of amazing capabilities, but it's a fairly rarefied environment. There's only 2.2 million devs at last count, whereas if you look at other environments, you've got 6.8 million plus devs in C#, and a lot of great programs, a lot of great things are being written in C#, and a lot of people have a lot of experience in that language as well. So that's why we built HoloNet, and the idea of HoloNet is it's designed to allow Unity projects and .NET projects to access Holochain. I put on the bottom left, there's the architecture of HoloNet. So you can take a close. By the way, I'm going to share this presentation with you guys later, so you can kind of get into a little bit more of the sort of the technical specs. But suffice to say, We are well on our way to having a beta version of HoloNET ready, something which is very high up on David's mind, and just basically trying to get it to the stage where it's in line with HoloChain. And as soon as that happens, we will be ready to invite as many .NET and Unity projects into HoloChain. So that will be a fairly significant moment, I'm sure you'll agree, for HoloChain. But we've got a lot of other things to cover, so I'm going to move on. Second thing is we are really pleased to announce that we have a partnership with this academy, which is called .NET Academy. It's founded by our senior C# developer who's based out in Tajikistan, called Farha, and it's doing really well. And it's just always good to see young developers who are learning the ropes, and will be basically building the systems of the future with HoloChain and also OASIS in mind. We've got a video to share. Hopefully this works. Yeah, so there you go. It's a nice little mood film there. But I think one of the great things about it is it's based in out all the way in Tajikistan, in the capital, Dushanbe. And I think it really proves just how truly global this HoloChain project is. And we, to emphasize that further, we've got devs working out in Pakistan. We've got David based out in Mexico. We've got tons of people everywhere, and I think that's the beautiful thing about HoloChain, is that it's basically all about uniting people from all around the world. I believe we got a new visitor here at Totsum. Great to see you here, sir. And we've just basically kicked off, just so you know. So next thing to cover is what these guys are doing. So they've already started to learn about the OASIS, and they're onboarding devs into actually building out the OASIS providers. So actually just today we got notification that a bunch of devs are learning about how OASIS connects to Solana. So here's a quick, this is 16 minutes long, so I don't think it's good use of time to show this entire thing. But here they are, and Farha is doing an overview into HoloChain, how it works, also how OASIS sits on top. So these Tajiki devs are getting onboarded as we speak, which I think is a win. Right. Next up, we have the OASIS AI tool, and now this is one of our Black Ops projects, and quite exciting for us. But the idea is that we want to make it as easy as possible for people to start interacting with HoloChain and also OASIS. So we're working on an AI tool which will basically sort of eventually work in a similar way to ChatGPT. On the left, we've got a bunch of the things that we're hoping for it to do. So creates HoloChain compatible code based on user-defined predicts. It creates HoloChain distributed network application code that interfaces with the OASIS platform. It will be able to take OASIS platform data models and automatically generate holochain compatible code. One thing we kind of think could be really exciting based on what we've seen with the RAIN protocol recently, which was putting NFTs onto the holochain platform, is that we're creating a code generator that will be able to create smart contract code for OASIS platform applications. Now, without going too much into detail there, the idea is that with this, you're going to get all of the benefits of holochain platform, but on top of that, with OASIS, you're going to be able to connect it to all of the other providers as well. So it's basically connecting holochain up with Solana, IPFS, basically you name it, and it will be able to do that. So that's really exciting, and a tool that will be able to assist developers in creating efficient, scalable holochain programs. Here's a quick look at the user interface. We are waiting to go into the next phase. Not quite at MVP level yet. We're working towards a proof of concept. But our, again, senior developer, Farha, and working with David, have already made quite a lot of, good steps forward here. So there you go. Right, now moving into our world. This is something which we love, and we're really, really happy to see progress with it. I think that I wanted to start off with this quote, which came from a very influential writer called Michel Bauwens, and it was all about technology and consciousness. So the role of consciousness and spirituality in technology, which is very, very aligned with our thinking. So he says, to a very large degree, the development of human technology is the expression of our unconscious desires and ideals, which we put out in the world, where it becomes an uncontrollable cybernetic machine. Current form of technological development is socially unconscious. We largely ignore the social body of the planet, of both human and non-human communities. A very large part of current crypto is motivated by the exodus of the exiles, the creation of Elysium, believing that some will be able to escape the likely social and ecological catastrophes. It's the idea that we don't really have, we're not responsible for our planet, and we just basically create systems that ignore the core functions of humanity, core functions of society, which of course is very, very different to how you feel about things if you're part of holochain, because you know that every one of us has a big role to play. Now, this is where we had a very interesting conversation last week. David has always been very consistent about this, and he says, the whole point of Our World is that the whole world is the Our World team, hence the name. And I want everyone to feel responsible for our beautiful world and start taking care of it. And then he goes on to say, true solutions are oppressed and ignored in the modern world. We have to find it and share it through fiction. There's no more time for cosplay fantasies. The time for transparency is required now to reveal truth from implied fiction. The time to reform the old world has ended. We have to build from the ground up now, not from the skyscrapers down. Now it's a time to build a new world, the world of our imaginations, our world. And I think that really, it gave me goosebumps when I heard it, because that's what we're all here to do. And I think that the thing that holochain unlocks is something where everybody's part of it, and Our World sits on top of that. And hopefully you'll agree that it is something which makes it available to everybody to play a role. So here's the we're going to show you some of the user screens, and here is what you might start with. We've also got a little clip of work in progress, and we'll have more to share in the coming weeks, but this is how it's currently looking. Okay, it's running a bit slow. I realized that I should probably have had some nice music, sound effects, or at least commentated over it. But this is giving you a sort of a snapshot of where things currently are, and I'm going to walk through what exactly we're looking at now. Oh, well, actually, first of all, I'm going to explain. So this is a Unity-based project, and so we've employed the services of a really legit Unity dev house. It's going to port through HoloNet onto HoloChain. So that will be a world first, getting a Unity project into HoloChain, and it will be bringing all the benefits of this augmented reality technology to mobile phones. Hopefully, as soon as so I think it's called a Zero Arc comes online, we'll be able to actually have this HoloChain-based game on everybody's phones. And yeah, so what is our world? Well, it's a game of life. It works over the entire planet. It gives you access to your location wherever it is in the world. And the idea is that it's a gentle encourager to go and do things that are really good for you and your community and the planet at large. On the right there, you'll see that you have a karma bar. That karma bar is actually, that gets bigger when you go out and do things like spend time in nature. On the left there, you'll see there's all these points of interest nearby you. You can select them and it will actually wayfind the same way as kind of Google Maps, but a lot more advanced into these natural areas. But on top of that, you can plug in restaurants, you can plug in healthy eating spots, vitamin shops, you name it. So it's basically a way of pushing you gently into things that basically level up your health, happiness, spirituality, all the things that are so sorely missing from our current technology. But it's a lot more than that as well. One thing that's really exciting about it is because of HoloChain's peer-to-peer networking, super scalable and very distributed, we think this is going to allow potentially unlimited players to play and interact. So you're never going to have server overload issues with this, which basically is another world first for HoloChain, because this is one of HoloChain's real strengths. There is no server. Everybody is part of the server. So that's great. One thing which we are working on is the sort of Pokemon Go style experience. So you've got the ability to go out into nature and you'll be able to find dinos, dino eggs. These are sort of things that you can collect, you can train. They get better when you do more experiences. So it's not just walking around in nature. There's an entire, David's done some amazing work with building out the mechanics of this, and it's a game which you're going to want to come and play time and again. It's not just sort of like a Google Maps thing. So we're really excited to be able to soon we'll be able to show you some of that UI, because that's part of the first round of MVPs. And then we've got this karma system. So as mentioned, there's a karma system that overlays everything. This actually is potentially the beginning of a mutual credit currency system, because you earn it through doing real world actions. And then in the future, you'll be able to spend it on enhanced experiences in game and actually maybe even across the internet through use of the OASIS Karma API. So you'll be able to do things like when you spend time in nature, go to exercise classes, eat healthy food, picking up litter, volunteering, helping your community. Those will all be things that will help you to earn karma. And we actually anticipate that on top of that, you'll have the ability to actually create your own volunteering scheme or create your own community that will be able to plug into this karma system. So it's not just us that are dictating this. This is just a system. And we know that there are thousands and thousands of amazing initiatives and schemes out there that would really benefit from having a way of linking up with all of the other ones, and having the ability to write their own script, but just using shared values and shared rules. So I think that this is a another really exciting part of what we're hoping to build. Here's a few more of the screens, and I think one of the things to just point out is it really is it's using Mapbox API. So it's like a one-for-one of the entire world, and again, that's a pretty enormous feat. But it's basically the idea of just gamifying life. And yes, still work in progress, but you can see in the middle bottom one, you can see the wayfinding. So that's when you've selected a location, it will show you how to get them. And yeah, here's the avatar screen, so you can build your own avatar. This is again done using the OASIS Avatar API. That API is very, very powerful. It allows you to be whatever you built, it will take it across the entire internet by using the interoperability provided by OASIS. So whatever you build here, that's yours. And we're really excited because we're going to be bringing out some more advanced avatars. But you know, the idea of, you know, you don't need to have 20 different accounts. You can just have one, and it will work and follow you across. And not only that, this will be the closest representation that you might have of your true real life identification, because it's actually connecting with the real things that you're doing in your life. Like when you've been to meditation, when you've been to ecstatic dances, that's all reflected. Yeah. As mentioned, we're really excited because this will be a platform that others can build on, whether that is just using it to plug in geolocation NFTs, or whether it's a DAO, or whether it's a community, or whether it's, you know, even local governments will be able to plug in. And actually, yeah, there was a nice quote here from Hesu, who's working on some really good stuff of his own. And he said, as I see it, we need to add spirituality and philosophy to be part of technology and living systems. So make apps where people can choose their life paths and get guidance from others along the way. Build communities that take care of the needs of the people in them. And I mean, I think we've all had similar thoughts, but it's nice to include that here. We really want people to build on our world, build on OASIS. These systems are sorely needed. And we already have one excellent candidate with HoloNET, which is Lucklight's flagship app, which hopefully will be building out in the coming weeks and months. Luck, do you want to just quickly explain a little bit about that one?
Sure. It's kind of just like what you're talking about. I've studied the problems on the macro level of this planet, and I've boiled it down to, you know, if we can flip the script where we're not dependent on these large corporate systems for our sustenance and our livelihoods, then we can more fully be responsible for ourselves through urban micro homesteading. So that's the primary utility of volunteers. But in order to allow people to share locally goods and services that they produce, I also wanted a market space. So it's my rendition of a free market space as well. And so people will be able to sell and buy anything on there, but it'll be focused a lot on cost per action activities. For example, if you needed your lawn mowed and you didn't feel like doing it, or you had somewhere else to be, you could simply offer that to the market, and then people could bid on what they would ask in return for mowing your lawn. And then you could choose the offers that you would accept, and they would be done, and everyone would be compensated using a crypto. So I think in a nutshell, that's primarily what it is. But it is about, you know, eventually creating a virtual reality space where people can test out micro homesteading for themselves, and then decide if they'd like to, you know, try it in the real world as well.
Nice. And I know that, Anita, from our last conversations, that you we're working in Time Bank, which of course is about a similar thing, and a currency that's based around mutual exchange of time and for services. So what Luck is thinking is sort of plugged in, and it really is sort of in this sort of holochain world, but it's a lot of this stuff seems like no-brainer. So we're so excited to sort of to try and see this come through, because it will, I mean, it sounds crazy just sitting here talking about it, but it will be a real sea change in the way that we look at life. We'll quickly mention this. This is certainly something which is not fully fleshed out, but so we are thinking about using Karma as a way of kicking off a light version of a token, so an initial Karma offering, and this is a way of letting people support us, because we're actually going to be needing some support quite soon, and offering people something in return. So it's for Karma to be earned in 3 ways for all participants. First way you're earning Karma is by supporting the next stages of development, and each donation will receive utility tokens to be used inside of Our World, and each participant will earn points within the Karma system of Our World, which will then be used later to receive benefits. And then, yes, the third way is good Karma in infinite reality received for supporting open source decentralized Web 5 tech for our shared future. So full tokenomics are coming soon. I just wanted to give a real advanced heads up that this is kind of where we are going in terms of trying to create something which is a little bit more supporting of us, because we've gone a very long time basically completely self-funded, and that we're kind of running out of road for that, but hopefully with enough support we can keep things moving. Now, OASIS. So OASIS is really the thing that underpins all of this. So I wanted to spend a little bit of time just explaining that. So OASIS is a set of APIs, and Our World is a super app that's built on the OASIS, and it uses a lot of those APIs. Important thing to call out is it offers devs capabilities already. So it's if you look down at the bottom there, you can see all of the different providers which OASIS connects to. So by building an app on using OASIS protocols, you are able to get all of the benefits from all of those providers. And that is things like it will take all of the best performing qualities of each one of the blockchains, giving you the best of each one of those things. It has incredible speeds, incredible stability. It's got the avatar API that allows you to take your avatar across the internet. It does a similar thing with wallets. Does a similar thing with data. Gives you complete control of your data, what you want to do with it. We are really hoping actually to attract some devs to start building using this protocol, because by doing that, we'll actually be able to demonstrate. It's the best way of doing it. You need to basically to show rather than tell. So that will be really one of the key things for us in the next steps to get people to start trying it out, seeing what's working. We've also got, if you see there on the left, we've got hackalong events, which we certainly hope that people might start taking the time to go through. It's designed to be fun and open. Additionally, we've got the light paper there, which kind of goes into a bit more depth in how it works. And we've also got a web portal and a landing page. I should probably share this this presentation, but I will as soon as I've stopped presenting, so you can go into a bit more detail if you would like. Also wanted to say what's actually next in our agenda. So we have Star ODK, which is a low-code generator that is a thing that's going to be connecting up metaverses. David has been talking about this for a long time and building it. I still struggle to wrap my head around it, but I think that just speaks to just David's unique capabilities. And it's going to do things that we can't even imagine yet, like aggregating global data, sense making, providing us with insights that we couldn't even imagine at this point. And then additionally, we have One World. So One World is the sister of Our World, and it's a VR instead of AR, which is also that is when we get the spatial computing and the next level of VR coming out. That's when we're going to start to have this amazing easy flowing between online and offline through the use of HoloChain and Our World. So the experiences that you have in One World will then be able to come across into Our World. Everything will hopefully be connected via OASIS. And yeah, it's going to be fantastic. I wanted to just, this presentation has taken obviously a while, but I wanted to finish on this really, really lovely quote from Ed. These things are taking a lot of time, but trust the timing, trust the process, cannot rush something special. That's how we feel about it. We've been in this for quite some time. David's definitely been in this for a very long time. He's still here, still going. We're not going to give up on this. This is our mission. And if you're here, and you are here, I really thank you for lending us your time and your support. It means a hell of a lot. Yeah, that is it. Oh, and so thank you. And yeah, here's some ways of supporting. There's a donations link. There is a way to buy Oasis land or OLand. We'll be fleshing that out in the future. There's links for Twitter and for HoloNET Our World the game. And if you're a dev, you can support with your time. We are, as said, very much hoping to basically attract a new community of devs to start interacting with these new technologies. We guarantee any dev that comes in will be rewarded for their interest with some really interesting new capabilities. So yeah, follow us on jump in on Discord. There's a Telegram hackalong chat there. You can also send me an email if you're interested in supporting with time with through max@holonet.com. So that is it, and I'm actually going to hand it over now to Luck. We're in the AMA section, and yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah, there was one question in the chat, but David already answered it. So do we have the list of previous questions?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
So here's the first one. How are we doing this? Luck, do you want to read it out, and then David can jump in and answer those questions?
Yeah, sure thing. Firstly, congrats on your progress thus far. Great job. Is it possible for the team to implement within Our World a model for all the projects building on HoloChain, which are aimed at creating a better economic condition for our world? For instance, namely the Holo Hosting Network and Internet of Energy Network are two known projects using computer power and energy respectively to create a new economy. What if you could use your platform to grant karma to folks participating in these economies? Would it not be of great value to your project and the other projects as well?
Hi guys. Yeah, so basically to answer that, hope you can hear me. I'm having a few problems here, but yeah. So like, as Max said, it's like a Karma API. So like, the OASIS API has like 7 APIs. There's an Avatar API, a Karma API, data, keys, wallets, providers, seeds, NFTs, a few other ones, and a lot more coming soon. But main thing is that these other projects can plug in the OASIS API into the projects, and then they can grant the karma automatically. People either hosting, on the Holo network or on the Red Grid, which is like the energy network, referring to Australia, I think. And in the meantime, before that, they can manually add the karma because you can go onto the OASIS platform.world site we have, and then you can create your avatar. And then we can grant karma onto your avatar that way. But that's going to be coming. You can create your avatar now, but I'm just doing a big update to the OASIS API. I'm just changing the way your avatar creation is done. So you might want to hold off just a couple of weeks, and I'm going to be updating the karma API as well. But it can be used now. People can plug it in, like I said, to existing projects. Because the whole point is the karma APIs and the avatar APIs that you can plug it into apps, websites, services, games, everything. So it's all about gamifying karma and doing good in the world and creating a better world. And then that karma can be redeemed in our world. Your avatar levels up instead of XP. Karma is like your XP, so you level up and you unlock special abilities like spells and telekinesis and flight and superhero powers and unlocks new crests and things. It's kind of like the equivalent of XP in RPG games. And I'm kind of very inspired by Diablo. I'm playing Diablo 4 at the minute. Well, I don't get much time to play games, but like a skill, even though the skill tree, so it'd be like karma instead of XP points you can spend. And then you can also redeem the karma for real world goods and services, like in health food restaurants or yoga classes or yoga retreats. And redeem it for like purchase upgrades for your avatar and virtual land in our upcoming NFT store as well. Yes, I hope it answers the question. This thing, the presentation Max did is like really good, but it's so that's in like 1%. It's like tip of the iceberg. It's, there's so much more to it, but it put hours explaining it all. So over time, I think we're slowly drip feed.
Right,
so
David. And programs like Volunteers or RedGrid or HoloHost can plug in and receive experiential karma points for their merit in contributing to a larger good, correct?
Yeah. So so like the karma can be acquired anyway, like and also like for these projects and also for picking up litter or volunteering with charity or just helping people or even supporting someone on social media. That's the other thing as well. It's kind of like going to be a way of getting rid of bad actors because you have the reputation system, which I want to plug into the reputation interchange by sacred what's it called, renamed to neighborhoods now, stuff that Sid's doing in Holochain. I've been working with him for a while, so I want to plug the karma API into that as well, so that can make it more interoperable with the rest of Holochain ecosystem.
Right. So like if they were doing a time bank exchange system or something, then they're contributing to the local community because they're not being taxed on the process of exchanging monetary value, correct?
Yeah, basically. And this is Luck is like a tokenomics expert, and he's still getting up to speed on tokenomics. And we're working on the IKO, the initial karma offering, and
yeah,
the two different coins right now. The OWT, Our World token, right, and Our World karma token. But I just stay in my little Web 4, Web 5 bubble. I'm building like OASIS API's Web 4 and Star case Web 5 because I find Web 3 other than Holochain very overcomplicated and not scalable and it's not really solving many problems kind of thing. It's creating problems and solving some problems and creating problems. But Holochain is the only thing that resonated with me. So but Luck's my kind of blockchain expert and advisor. So because OASIS integrates into all the blockchains in the crypto world. But I focus more on building like the next generation technology that comes after Holochain because stuff's built on the top of Holochain. I find Web 3 very yesterday. Web 4 was 2 years ago, and Web 5 is now for me. Web 6 was coming. I won't go into all this stuff because Max is saying I got to rein it in because people can't even understand Web 3 yet, so I can't even talk about 4, 5, and 6 yet. So we have to take one step at a time.
Fritz, you put your hand up? Do you have a follow-up question?
Yeah, all right. So just to be clear, so you're saying that in order for these two economies to get involved in the karma process, they themselves as individual owners of that economy would have to create a karma system for themselves. That's what I really want to understand.
So, so you're wondering whether people will be able to create their own karma system using Our World that's different from the main karma system?
Yeah, because that's the answer I'm getting from the question I asked, right? As it relates to the energy grid, the energy team in Australia, and also the hosting team. So using computer processing for hosting and using energy grids. So two different economies, right? So I just want to be clear that it wouldn't be you guys that would actually be establishing that karma system for these economies. It would be them. That's what I'm trying to get clear.
I can take that one, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, you would earn karma in our world for your deeds in other projects or in infinite reality. Yes.
Oh,
Just want to add to that. Also, sorry, problems with my sound. Also, every new moon, we're gonna have like a day out as well, and people can vote for the karma ratings. You know how much karma you get for different deeds, or for hosting a holoport, or being part of the energy network. And then so each new moon, people will vote for those how much karma you receive, and you can also propose new karma types and remove karma types if you wanted to as well. Because we didn't want to be like playing God and dictating, because it's always subjective what people value karma. The only thing is we have the law of one law in there. So basically, if you help a person, or don't get more karma than helping an animal, or if you hurt an animal, it's the same amount of karma you lose if you hurt a human being. It's about making everyone equal and making sure nature and animals and people are at the same level. That's the only rule we're going to have in there. Other than that, it's basically by the community of what score each karma. Because otherwise, so far, unfortunately, the planet still seems to think that humans are more important than anything else on the planet. That's the big part we want to change. Everyone's equal and everyone's important, and we need to respect animals and nature, otherwise we destroy our own habitat. So that's one of the things that the karma system makes sure humans aren't prioritized over everyone else.
okay, thank you guys. Really appreciate the answers.
Cool. Moving on to the next question.
All right. Is it possible that you could support Unreal Engine 5 via a .NET wrapper or something of the sort?
Yeah, I had plans for this actually. I started thinking about this a few months ago because we started building One World now. Our World's been in production for many years, but One World's been in my head since 2011. That's also how it began, the MMORPG game. But Unreal Engine runs on C++, not .NET C#. So I wanted to port HoloNet to C++. I've got some C++ background, so that's something we're going to be doing soon. But this .NET C# is my strongest area. But if people want to jump in and help with that, if people have a strong C++ developers, that'd be great. Little side project to help start porting, because HoloNet's got a lot of really cool features that I'd love to put into C++.
BC, you got a question there?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, this was my question on the type form as well. But I might as well give a tiny intro since I didn't at the beginning. I've been following Holochain for also 5 or so years. And basically I'm part of a group of developers who are interested in the commons and people working in alternative economics who have always wanted to use Holochain, but end up using Ethereum because that's where the support, the community, and the funding is available. So I also found this AMA after competing in an Ethereum-based Autonomous Worlds Hackathon, which was about kind of using a framework called MUD, which replicates game-related data from the chain from Ethereum to Unity. And I was interested in whether, like more on the lower level, about whether HoloNet is ready for use. Like we have some projects where we're simulating economic systems inside of Unity and replicating the game state via MUD to Ethereum. But we would love to be using tools on HoloChain. Every time we design something, it's like, if only there was some tooling on HoloChain that's ready. So I also happen to do some video game work, like making planetary dashboards. So it's nice to see there's a lot of synchronicity. But yeah, we would love to be able to port these tools to HoloChain. I'm just wondering what the state of HoloNet is and whether it's something that the wider community can use. I mean, I think I'm basically the target audience of developers that want to be on HoloChain, but maybe don't know Rust or need an easier entry. So I'm wondering if there are any plans for these kind of Unreal Engine tools, which also have massively exploded in popularity to the point where it's not even just C++ developers, but artists who can visually script in Unreal Engine's blueprint, for example, who are now able to make projects and get the tools out of the way. You know, I don't know if HoloNet could provide a pathway for them to be making apps on HoloChain, even without C++ experience. But yeah, that's broad swath of questions, but whether HoloNet is ready for developers to already be porting dApps to HAPS.
Thank you.
Yeah, basically, yeah, it's been out like 10 months now. But just got finished upgrading to the latest HoloChain version. Because if you've been in the HoloChain community like I have since 2019, you know, the goalposts are always moving, and the first HoloNet was actually built in 2019. And that we released and then announced the new RSM refactor to Rust. It was the Go prototype back then. And then NixOS come out, and it's been quite a journey for the chain. It's coming back to release tooling, they then changed everything, and I had completely breaks my prototypes. And we've got a .NET HTK low-code generator that was built in 2 years ago, I think, maybe 3 years. And that kind of generates dynamic Rust and C# code. Which kind of what you're saying, so you don't need to know Rust, you just put in your metadata, data models, and it automatically generates the Rust and C# code. And C# code is like a HoloNet wrapper around the Rust CRUD. Like Rust is like the data access layer, and C# is like the business logic layer. The app logic goes in C#, and the data for storing and writing data to HoloChains in the Rust. And this thing that I built works, does work for you, but then so the new RSM come out, and I'm just upgrading HoloNet, and then the .NET HTK will come out. I think HoloNet beta will be within a couple of weeks, and then .NET HTK will be about a month after that, and then Star ODK will be about a month or two after that. And Star ODK, just a quick background, it kind of built out of .NET HTK, evolved out of that, and it's kind of expanding .NET HTK for all the providers, so you can dynamically generate code for any target provider, so Ethereum, EOS, Solana, Mongo. So basically, dynamically generate code for any provider, and then it has even more interoperability. But right now, it's interoperable across the REST API service, like an HTTP OASIS API service. But once Star's done, you'll basically dynamically generate native code per provider. So it's even faster than it doesn't have to go through like a HTTP REST service, and it can work offline because it's all native. And it's pretty powerful. And just fitting what Max did in the presentation, the OASIS API has auto load balancing, auto failover, and auto replication. So it's network independent. So if one node goes down in your area, like a HoloChain node, you might find the next fastest node might be Ethereum. It's not dependent on one node. So it's going to be shut down, and it has such super data integrity as well. It's like a Gothic protocol, but across the whole internet, not just HoloChain. So any data is done on one network will be replicated to the other networks that are bigger, the own node. It's hard to explain, but I think that's kind of an overview of it. So the basically giant web over abstraction layer of the whole internet. That's the Web 4 OASIS API, and the Web 5 historically builds on that, kind of goes into cyberspace ontology and native code generation, a lot more than that. But that's enough for now because I know people get lost.
Sure, David. For the non-developers in the room, what's your notion about when people will potentially be able to log into the demo and check it out?
David, you're currently muted.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, thanks. Yeah, the OASIS platform is live now, but like I said, we go to osisplatform.world. I'll just show it here. You can see it, but you create avatars. But we're just about to just drop it in here. Just about to do a new release of the OASIS API where we change the avatar creation process. So it's going to change slightly, and we're going to be upgrading the Karma bit because that's the main priority. You can create avatars now and edit your avatar, but we want to build a UI to that Karma part. This is a problem, like me was saying, because people are going to be starved of funds. So we're trying to build, it's a massive project, trying to build a backend out, our world, the web UIs. It's a lot. The web UI is using React, so any React developers who want to help with that, and looking for web designers as well. So we're kind of going to be really pushing the web UI now as well, because we've focused on our world, very basic focus on our world to really get that going. So that's kind of been in hand now, and now we're going to be pushing getting the web UI finished. And I'm personally focused on HoloNet and the back end, the mostly back end architecture. So hope that explains things. So for the next few months, next few months you'll be seeing a lot more demos and prototypes, MVPs coming together, and then it will start to make sense. Because I've been talking about this for years, and like I said, I want to show people, not tell people anymore. I just tired of talking about this for 10 years. I just want to get it built and just show people what it makes, and people understand.
Yeah,
thank you, David.
And just in terms of the things that are missing from the from the beta, in order for us to get to beta, we basically need to reverse engineer the JavaScript client. That was one of the last remaining challenges for David. And there's just a few more things of that ilk that need to be done, and then we'll be ready with beta. And as I was saying, PC, it sounds really interesting, your project, and you're right. If we can do it for you, I'm sure there will be other devs that will be excited to see how you've done it. So we should definitely stay in contact. And if you have any other questions, we'll make sure that we sort of get it up and running with you, especially as you've put the effort in to check us out now. Yeah, follow-up question?
Yeah, I was just going to say thanks. And we have, like, in our community, some people making Unreal Engine plugins, people with 5+ years in alternative economics, and I think we probably share a lot of contacts as well. Something that also came to mind is, like, there could be connects with Niantic, who made Pokemon Go. I don't know if you've considered, like, sort of, I guess the technology has to get to a level where you would present it to somebody who's already got an established product. But I wonder, maybe that's more on the business and partnership side. I'm not sure if you've followed up anything there, but that could be something to talk about.
Yeah, I think one of the things we have, we need to get MVPs and demos as a matter of urgency. And as David, touched on briefly, our funds have certainly been an issue. We're basically self-funded and have been for forever. So we are, there's not that much gas in the tank, but we will get to the point where the MVPs are up. And once that happens, it will certainly be time to initiate conversations with the likes of Niantic. So many different potential partners to plug into across the board, which is why it's great to have, a small community here who's sort of seen it, because as soon as we launch, it's go time. We don't have much time to waste, really. But it seems to be, just a question of as soon as the demos are up, that's the time to launch. But yeah, certainly community involvement is super, super appreciated for all of those reasons.
Cheers. Some of our projects could serve as MVPs, open offer, I guess, as well. So interested in a further chat. Thanks.
Fantastic. Yeah. Just
Definitely.
if you've got any links to your socials and your projects and stuff, just drop them in the chat so we can stay in touch. So here is the next question. Look.
All right, here we go. I've realized with any initiative at all, capital is required. What have been your strategies to allocate capital for the project, and are they bearing fruit?
Well, full disclosure of this is the capital as it currently stands is coming from me, and I just realized that at this stage this was the best way of making sure that we stayed, we kept the lights on. Certainly not enough to do everything that we need, and we've been scraping by based on just love and hope, and I can't tell my mum, but what funds we have. So we are basically now at the stage where we need to start examining these strategies as a matter of urgency. So that is why we are now looking into this IKO, and I think the other thing we are talking about just between Luck and David and myself is the concept of a whale sale to allow people to put some support in early and get the return later. Certainly, there is more than enough technology to back up whatever we put down. So we are, we're just basically at the stage where we need to do it. When we do it, we want to do it right as well. We don't want to, be doing anything that's poorly judged or poorly managed, but that is our priority for the next stage. There's multiple priorities, but basically getting funds is extremely important for us right now. And
Right.
Yeah.
Well said, Max.
I was just going to say, yeah, OASIS can support us. Like Max said, we've got a GoFundMe crowdfunding campaign. It's been quite old now and it needs updating, but that's one way of quickly helping. Or even better is OpenSea NFTs, which is basically virtual land in our world in OASIS called OLands. That would really help too, and that would help you too. And you receive karma for buying land, and the more land you buy, the more karma you receive, which you can redeem later after IKO. And the other thing as well, Max very tired of me saying, is that if you want to help apply for grants for us and or donate other ways, we'd be really appreciative, because it's just really me, Max, trying to manage this with developers and spending so much resources and time we have. So right now I'm focused on getting their MVPs out. But if you want to help with crowdfunding or NFTs or grants, that'd be really appreciative. Thanks.
thanks for the question.
Just to add to the capital requirements for what it would take to bring our world to the general public and have it fully operational. I did some research based on the type of funding going in the metaverse right now. We got the Vision Pro coming out and stuff like that, but most of them are all centralized versions. So I think our angle is focusing on the decentralized aspect. But I've came up with a figure, ballpark something around like $10 million a month for a year. It would probably take to complete and finalize this. So, we're a long way from there now, but we have, fruit sprouting, and we're hoping that, they'll become more in the future. So I'm very grateful that Max has helped this project forward and that all the hard work that David has put into it, because for me, as a program designer who has struggled for over 20 years to find, funding as well as good devs to help me build my projects, this has been a great boon for me. So I want to contribute to the community with my own skills as a community manager, as well as growth and cultural hacker, and just to really emphasize that these Web 5 strategies are really what will, I think, move humanity forward, and that we can all benefit from greater connectivity and prosperity together.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, next one. Are there any special criteria you look for in a project as it relates to your selection process when adding a project to the OASIS?
I can take that. It's basically the main thing is that it's all about doing good in the world. So any projects on building on OASIS, or just basically nearly every project in the HoloChain community would be past the criteria. Just has to be like something that's going to help the world, help people's health, improve yourself, maybe a fitness app, or a volunteering app, or homesteading app, or a game, educational game to help children. Anything, I think you get the idea. Anything that's going to like improve people's health and things. So we wouldn't have like Big Pharma or McDonald's or things like that, like, or alcohol, or anything that's basically not good for your health or polluting the planet. They wouldn't be allowed in the OASIS. Or maybe there might be, and then they just get really negative karma, and it might incentivize them to change their ways. So I don't know. We could look at that later on, because eventually, if the dream comes as I want it to be, like the Ready Player One prophecy, I want it to be the platform that everyone will be on, and then they want to be part of that, or they'll like lose all their business. So then I think it'd be finally incentivize them to start improving, because karma is the new currency. I always say karma is the new currency of the future, not money. It's not about how much money you have. You can't buy your way in. You can't buy karma. It's kind of I think with land, I want to do in future. Once we've got this going, it's your karma score plus a bit of a fee to buy land, to then incentivize you to do good in the world and improve your health, and then you can then buy more NFTs and things with your karma rather than financial. It's kind of phasing out financial, fiscal greed, and you can't, and then you can only use the karma that you earn. Hope that makes sense.
Sure, thanks, David. What just came to mind was if there were like nations or governments that plugged into our world, like Max mentioned earlier, they could actually penalize companies that pollute with negative karma, and then they would like have to not just buy carbon credits, but actually stop polluting in order to stop that. So that would be interesting.
Exactly.
Fritz, you got a question?
Yes, I would just like to add what Lux said. I mean, I mentioned earlier in the chat about VeChain. So VeChain is big on gaming, they're big on logistics, and they're also big on carbon. So it would be a good play for the OASIS. All right. So you guys can check them out and do some research about them if you have not already done so.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Great. Let's do the next question. Here we go.
All right, I could probably field this one. If
Oh.
for some reason there it goes.
Oh, sorry about that. There we go.
It said something along the lines of,
Yeah.
if for some reason the holochain transaction fee would be made 100%, what would that impact your project? So I feel like if it's 100% fee, then you're paying what you're spending, so you're not actually spending. So that might not be good for Hollow Fuel, but I think in our world, we are talking about creating a mutual credit currency at some point, and we'd like to back it with what I call MaaS, which is Metaverse as a Service. And so I think as long as we can use the Hollow Fuel wallet, it's okay, whatever the percentage that they're charging for fees is.
Cool.
Do you have anything to add to that, David?
No, that makes sense to me. The other thing to note as well, I always had my vision was to earn karma, hollow fuel, and seeds. I'm not sure people heard of seeds. It's another like regenerative currency. It's like another built on Telos EOS. That's integrated into the OASIS API as well. And they're having problems like scaling up as well. Right now they only have WordPress and EOS smart contract integrations, but the OASIS API, so you can plug into everything: games, websites, apps, services, to HoloChain. So my vision was to integrate everything, bring all these good projects and bring the best of all of them together, and then use the best of all worlds, and basically integrate the whole world and then gamify it all. That's kind of my gifts: is integration and gamification. Create a better world.
I just have a question for you, David. Would you allow the users of our world to choose how they cash out their karma? For example, maybe they wanted all seeds or all hollow fuel.
Yeah, I want it to be flexible. So basically, you have like your OASIS wallet, and you have like your seeds, your hollow fuel, your karma, and this is the other thing as well. It's about OASIS kind of aggregates all the wallets together. And when I first started this years ago, and I started designing buildings in 2018, there was no people weren't even thinking about interoperability integration. There's some wallets now out there, but this is all going to be part of the OASIS. So because one of the things I found frustrating with crypto was trying to get like find something from one wallet to the next wallet, and it's just a mess. Everything's everywhere. I want to aggregate it all into one wallet so you can just see very easily your full balance, and it might be fiat, cryptos, your seeds, your karma, your hollow fuel, and you can just swap between them in one balance. And it's really easy because when I first used Binance, it was a nightmare. And I'm a techie, and I was just like, I just want to get the money from my NFT sales, and it took me 2 months to get NFT money into my bank account. And I was like, this is ridiculous. I was like, I can build something much better than this horrendous UI. The OASIS is powerful, but on the front end, it's really intuitive and simple to use. But the power users can drill down into more advanced options. Under the hood, it's a really powerful engine. But our world and OASIS is designed to be for non-techies, non-crypto, non-blockchain, to make it accessible to everyone and bring holochain to the masses and just gamify it. If you've seen Ready Player One, it's kind of that's the vision kind of thing. Make it really simple and easy. Even your grandma can use it without having any technical background. But people, the power users can then go in and customize things more.
And we're pretty close to having demos for the OASIS APIs as well. I mean, it's funny, you know, this time last year we actually did another AMA for OASIS where we were actually just about to start rolling out the actual demos. So it's amazing just how much actual work has gone into all of this OASIS stuff. For me, it's almost like I've literally been encountering like limits to my own brain computing power. Like I can't hold our world and all of the crazy functionalities of the OASIS at the same time. That's saying something about David's, you know, capabilities. But I think what would be great is, you know, doing a proper AMA/demo before too long to demonstrate the OASIS features, because as David said, you know, there are certain ones that are almost just like throwaway in a sense, which are really, really powerful with, you know, with regards to, you know, Web3 wallets, so basically Web4 wallets, with you know, amazing security and just basically done right. So yeah, that's something for the future.
It's been quite a journey because basically the OASIS API Alpha got released in 2020, the very first version. You know, it's done then, but I didn't have Max then or marketing, and I did a if you look at the Our World website and the YouTube channels, you see I did a session with David Atkinson to eco sessions, but it never got published. I never published on my blog because I don't know, because some people have autism maybe, and I'm not so good at presenting. So and maybe it was too early days then, because it was too far ahead of its time. People didn't even understand. I don't think David Atkinson understood what I was presenting. It wasn't time yet, but I think now it is time. And last year we did another demo of it, of the Avatar API, and then I was going to do a data API, but I wanted to wait until I integrated HoloChain. So I started working on a new HoloNET upgrade last July, and I thought it'd be a few months' work, but this is how much work's gone into HoloNET. If you look at the GitHub repo, you see how detailed documentation is. It's a really labor of love. That's my thing. I'm a perfectionist, and I'm very attention to detail. I don't just knock something out there, hack something and release it. If I do something, I have to do it perfect. It has to be like polished and refined, and every little detail. And that's what I built with everything. So you look at the HoloNet page, you can see how detailed documentation is, and that's why it's taken me a year to do something that I thought was 2 months work. And now I'm just wrapping that up, and now we're coming full circle back to the OASIS API, and then we can demo the OASIS API with HoloChain. I don't want to do the OASIS API data demo without HoloChain, because it's like HoloChain is where it started it all, and that's at the core of it. So I wanted to show you sending data across blockchains, clouds, data, Web 2, Web 3, HoloChain, IPFS, showing how the data can be auto replicated across the whole internet. And I didn't want HoloChain to be missing from the demo. So that's why it's been delayed a year. That's the history of why. As always with HoloChain or HoloNet, everything takes way longer than originally envisioned. That's why I feel for Art and Eric, because I know how it feels. I've been on this journey since 2011 as well. Like, it's been a long, long journey.
And just on that note, I think one of the challenges that we have generally is, you know, we're working out at the fringes of technology, things that are new concepts certainly to most people, and finding ways to actually communicate that effectively it's a real challenge. You know, you've got very, very technical people who can get quite into the weeds because they are literally building the things. But the challenge is to sort of to find a way to you know, offload that in a way that makes sense. And I'm sure that, you know, Mark, you're probably fairly familiar with that. How do you actually explain these concepts in ways that can be latched onto? And that's, you know, being really frank, that's one of the challenges that both of us face. You know, David is incredibly, you know, specific, and you get really, really technical answers from him. But you know, because of his autism, it's hard to find that balance. And from my perspective, I'm not actually technical, so the two of us, we work together, but we're sort of I'm very high level and David's very, very low level, and so we're trying our best. And but really appreciate everybody's patience to be on this call, just to try and understand it. So yeah, thanks for that.
Thanks, Max. Ready for next one.
Yeah. So looks like we're at live question stage. So does anybody have any of those?
And thank you all for sticking with us. A couple had to go, but we really appreciate you all being here. Thank you.
Sure.
I think we answered all the questions. Yeah, if anyone had anything else to say, we'd love to hear it. But I hope to do, like, that's a close. Want to try and do this regularly, like AMA, maybe once every 2 to 3 weeks, maybe once a month. We have to sort of see how it goes, updates, and start the OASIS API hackalongs again, and so get people building on OASIS. And so we're going to start with like some holidays, and anyone else who wants to like building it, we can do that, like a use case of it basically, and then we can kind of record the progress of it and kind of show the history of how to build on it. It'd be quite useful, and do like little video tutorials and things. That's the problem. Like I said, I built this technology in 2020, but because I had no time to build the documentation tutorials, I'm still working in the architecture and trying to get our world and everything coming together. It's just too much to try to build a whole tutorial and the whole marketing stuff. But now with like more people joining the Max and stuff, I think it's getting to the point now where we can start to get it out there more. And so if you want people, if anyone who wants to build an OASIS or on HoloNET, please send them our way. It's ready to use now. It just needs people to come, and devs to come and build on it, and then I happily help them and answer any questions, and we can start building out the documentation. I think, did we drop a link in of the API? Oh, the API, yeah, it's here basically. Maybe we should have done this before. HTTPS. It's the same OASIS platform, but just put API at the front. It's HTTPS / API.oasisplatform.world, and that's the actual OASIS API itself. That's the REST API service, to be technical. World.
So are we done? Are there any additional questions from Mark or from Todson? It's great to see you here as well, by the way, Todson from Twitter. But if not, I might actually stop recording, and then we can, you know, wind down and have a light chat or not. Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah, thanks everyone for coming. Appreciate it. Thanks. See you next time.